Wallbanging, or shooting someone through walls, has been a core part of Counter-Strike since 1999. While it has been downgraded over the years, with CS2 being nowhere near the papier-mâché maps it was 1.6, there is still wallbanging possible, seen on all competitive maps in the pool, and can lead to some of the most insane moments possible.
What was that?
Everyone who's played the game for a reasonable amount of time has a core memory of hitting a ridiculous wallbang to turn the tide of a round, or just completely going ape with your mates because of the insanity of what just happened. Wallbanging also plays a critical role in separating the good players from the average players. Useful wallbangs are just another gameplay element to be committed to memory. Lineups and timings impact the likelihood of a kill or doing damage, and understanding key wallbangs can make you a better player. With wallbanging playing such a large role in Counter-Strike, let's look at the history, with how it's changed across the titles, and how the maps have changed its use through their history. So what even is wallbanging for the uninitiated, and how does it work? Wallbanging is simply shooting an enemy, or a teammate, through a solid object. Whether that is a piece of plywood leaning up against some barrels, a brick wall, or simply a pane of glass. These all count as wallbangs. We even have a fun icon that shows up when we pull a wallbang off. It's pretty simple at its most basic. Can't see the enemy? No worries. Spin the wheel of fortune, shoot at the wall anyway, and you may come out with a kill. Winding the clock back to 1.6, many unks have very fond memories of spamming everything. This was the noughties, baby. If you could dream it, you could bang it. Dust 2 tunnels from B site, yep, get that shit done. Pretty much anywhere on nuke. Sorry CTs, you ain't holding shit. I'm just gonna kill you through the wall. Through many of the buildings on Inferno? No worries. Train? Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. 1.6 was really a ridiculous time for wallbanging, and some people loved it, some people hated it. Starting with Source, when the series left the gold Source engine behind for Source 1, a number of new values were added in order to affect what bullets can and can't do, and things began to be a bit more polished and modern in terms of game physics. Penetration power was expanded upon in CS Source, and while wallbanging was still possible, it was now at a level that was a bit more reasonable, compared to the papier-mâché maps that was 1.6. There are a number of elements that affect the penetration possible through walls and surfaces, and wallbangs were now mostly limited to areas where Valve had decided it should be allowed, instead of the paper-thin walls of 1.6 allowing banging anywhere, like maps were a sex club. Guns. These all have different penetration power in the game, with SMGs, shotguns, and pistols having a penetration power of 1, Sans, the Deagle, and R8, which has a penetration power of 2. All of the main rifles, so the AK, the M4, the Krieg, the AUG, they all have a penetration power of 2, and then all scoped rifles, like the Scout and AWP, have a penetration power of 2.5. This affects the damage possible through a variety of surfaces, with the higher the penetration power, the higher the damage. But in CSGO and CS2, unless you're shooting through glass or wood, it's not really worth using any gun other than a scoped rifle. Materials also affect what is possible through a wall. Water, plaster, wood, and glass allow quite a lot of damage to penetrate through. For example, in Inferno in apps, or at car through that plank. Even pistols and shotguns can do damage through the surfaces like these. But surfaces like stone, brick, dirt, and metal do not allow much damage through at all, and should not really be attempted to be wallbanged unless you're using a scoped rifle like the AWP or the Scout. All of these, the gun used, material being shot through, and the thickness of that material affects the bullet penetration possible. Wallbanging in Source, and in every CS game since, has been far more limited than what was possible in 1.6 on the gold Source engine. Across maps, certain geometry was added to facilitate wallbangs, like the wood planks in Inferno apartments, and the doors on Dust 2 remained wooden, so wallbangs were still possible, with numerous other examples across the competitive pool. In CSGO and CS2, bullet penetration worked in a similar way to its first iteration in Source, but the values have been slightly altered and materials and thicknesses have changed across different maps. So, wallbanging has clearly changed over the years across the different titles, with game values being changed and becoming more modern with each respective title. But the biggest impact to wallbanging over the years since we moved on from 1.6 anyway, when everything was bangable, has been the maps themselves, and how they've been changed to facilitate new wallbangs or remove old ones. Different bangs have been possible at different times, and as I briefly spoke about in my video on verticality, angles and lines of sight are a core part of map design. While wallbanging is not technically a line of sight, it's more like a line of fire. So let's now look at how the core maps, plus favourites Overpass and Cache, have changed. Dust 2 has probably had the largest changes. A simple alteration, but huge. Changing all of the double doors from wood to metal, which was done in 2014. This minimised a huge amount of damage possible and changed lines of fire possible. This hugely affected play around mid and slightly changed takes and retakes on B. However, on the 27th of October 2017, the wooden doors came back, allowing for banging again. There has also been changes to penetration statistics of short, preventing wall banging from CT up through the ceiling to players crossing to A site. This was possible towards the beginning of CSGO and in Source, but is no longer possible. Inferno wallbangs have remained quite similar throughout the life of CSGO and into CS2. However, the map has changed to remove some not wallbangable surfaces, like the old pillars up Banana, which were hated by many as they were incredibly weird to play around. And in T apps, it's opened up a little bit, allowing CTs to wallbang down to Ts entering apps. Nuke has remained quite similar through the life of Source, CSGO and CS2 in terms of how bangable the map is. If we talk about how much the layout has changed, then it's a different story entirely. Many areas are wallbangable on Nuke, with Garage being slightly wallbangable by scoped rifles, and Hut and Annex also enabling a small amount of damage, even using AKs and M4s. There has been one change between Source and CSGO/CS2 though, with the roller door from ramp down to B. This spot is widely thought to be bangable, and you often even see pros trying to shoot through this, but this is a bit of the Mandela effect. This wall was changed in CSGO and has not been possible since Source. Overpass never existed in Source and was added towards the beginning of CSGO and went through numerous iterations. There were always wallbangs in bathrooms and between water and B site, and they've become more refined over time, and gives players one extra thing to think about when playing the map. Can I be killed with a wallbang here? Can I kill someone with this wallbang? There have also been some truly insane lineups that have been used through the years. Cache was originally made for CSS, and is the only map not owned by Valve that has been in the map pool. There were some pretty crazy wallbangs from T-spawn all the way to Z. There were also wallbangs to and from checkers and through doors as well. This map probably has the most storied history of wallbanging from all of CSGO. I'm keen to see how it will play once FM Pwn finishes up the port for CS2 and what lines of fires will be possible. I'm curious to see if wallbanging will be ramped up or rolled back. Mirage hasn't changed since it was added in CSGO, but during some of its early versions, when apps was actually a tunnel, there wasn't any wallbang possible to and from kitchen in apps. Both Ancient and Anubis have been added so recently that there's not been much opportunity for them to have changed. However, both have key bangs that are possible. On Ancient, there are B-site wallbangs from Cave and Platform, and are key parts of how the map functions. On Anubis, there are bangs from mid from E-box and water, enabling CTs to sometimes get a kill on aggressive T-plays up mid. Thank God, Vertigo is gone. It's changed quite a bit over the years, but with it being gone from the pool, it saves me needing to talk about it. Finally, Train. Back in the game after a 3-year hiatus. One of the classics that has been in the game since 1.6. This map has gone through massive changes, with the numerous different layouts that have graced our monitors over the years. In 1.6, as normal, most of the map was bangable, apart from the trains. Moving to Source, there was actually very minimal banging across this map, but there was one good one from Connector to Catwalk. And finally, in CSGO, a wallbang was added from A site up towards Showers/Popdog. This bang has been hit by pros a few times and has been kept in the game in the CS2 version. Wallbanging remains a defining aspect of Counter-Strike, blending skill, strategy, and map knowledge in a way that distinguishes top players from the rest. The ability to shoot through walls not only adds an exciting layer of unpredictability to gameplay, but but also requires players to develop a keen understanding of each map's unique structures and materials. Mastering wallbangs can turn the tide of a round, allowing players to secure crucial kills even when they don't have a clear line of sight. As the game evolved with each new iteration, and with the mechanics of wallbanging continuing to be refined, players have needed to adapt to new strategies and playstyles. From the chaotic days of 1.6 to the more structured approaches in CSS, CSGO and CS2, wallbanging has been transformed but remains integral to the gameplay experience. It encourages creativity, fosters teamwork, and can lead to some of the most memorable moments in competitive play. In essence, wallbanging is not just a quirky mechanic. It's a testament to the depth of Counter-Strike's gameplay and is a key part of the cultural zeitgeist of the Counter-Strike community. Let me know what era of wallbanging you guys preferred in the comments below. See you later.